Welcome back, gang. It's Delty from DeltyIsGaming.com, and we're talking Stamplar, Dodgeplar, part number 2, going a lot more in depth and explaining the Stamina Templar PvP build for no CP. So stick around if you want a lot of in-depth explanation and tips on the Stam Templar PvP. Let's get started. So I've been playing a lot more in Imperial City lately. I've really found it a lot more fun since there's no siege down here and a lot of organic PvP. So that's where I'm going to do the video primarily, just explaining the skills and everything. And then I'll show you some video clips of actually fighting and kind of walk you through what I'm doing. So it's important to get a grasp of where your damage sources come from, because if we're not buffed in a very specific order, we really don't have a whole lot of damage. So if you look here unbuffed, my weapon damage is at 2700. So that's nothing. So you have to be very diligent in maintaining some very specific buffs, or you're not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage, and you're going to get dunked on, not vice versa. So the first one you're going to want to maintain is Rally. Rally. Very simple. It's from the two-hander. We all know and love it or hate it. The nice thing about Rally is it lasts a long time. It gives you a decent heal over time with your weapon damage component. The way to use Rally is obviously keep it up before a fight. But if you're looking for a monster self-heal, don't recast it when the buff has 30 seconds left. Recast it towards the very end where there's about 5 seconds left. That will give you a bigger heal versus just casting it instantly. Okay, so the heal is going to go off the proportion of the length of time it's been active. So if we look at it right now with about 15-20 seconds, see, 3.9. That's not bad for a no CP campaign where I barely have 19k health. Okay, so that's the way you want to use Rally, is not just spam cast it like this, because it's going to heal, what, 1k. That's nothing. So take advantage of the duration and use it in an O crunch moment. Only recast it when you're going to go back into a huge fight or you need some little bit of healing. Your main source of healing should be coming from Resolving Vigor. Resolving Vigor, Alliance War, you get it very early in the Assault tree now, just maybe a couple hours to get this skill unlocked. This is a superior morph, it heals you for more. So if we hit it right here, you can see it's almost 817. That's really nothing in a no CP campaign. 1.3 on a crit. The way to take advantage of this is to use Extended Ritual here, which grants major mending, and combine it with Rally. So Extended Ritual right there, Rally up, and Resolving Vigor, you can see I'm getting decent heals over time. So Vigor will heal not only you, but people in your area. So if you're rolling in a small group, remember that you can provide some vital off healing for you and your buddies. And so when we're going in a small group like 2 to 3 players, we all have some type of heal for ourselves and others. Obviously, a Magic Templar is going to have something like Breath of Life. Even any other magic class can have Healing Ward. But each stamina class really needs to have this in a small group PvP setting. Extended Ritual, I can't say enough about this. It's absolutely incredible. The thing that makes it really nice is that this cleanses 5 harmful effects. And oftentimes when I'm going in solo PvP, I have about 3 poison injections on me. Someone's trying to surprise attack me, incapacitating strike, soul harvest. So there's just a million buffs, debuffs running on me, trying to take me out. So cast this to cleanse those negative effects. If you're glowing green, or you're on consoles and don't have all the add-ons and someone's hitting you with the poison injection, just assume you need to cleanse it. And this is where our magic goes to. So you can only cast it about twice before you're out of magic, but you shouldn't be casting it that frequently. This isn't something you want to spam cast. This is something you're going to want to cast before you cast Vigor, something you're going to want to cast after you dodge and kind of get away. And to kind of cleanse, get rid of all those effects. Plus, allies in your group, if you're playing a small group, they can use that synergy. And the synergy actually heals for quite a lot. So, this is a defensive ability, not an offensive one. Now, if you are topped off on magic, you can cast it and then kind of roll into combat. Once you leave the area, you still get about 4 seconds of that major mending. So, I personally like to save it. You can go back in here and get more 4 seconds. Your bread and butter defensive is Shuffle. People hate this skill, but it's very effective, and almost every medium armor needs to use it. The reason it's so effective, it lasts for a while, and it removes snares and grants immunity for it. So it's your getaway, get out of jail free card. It does cost quite a bit of stamina, especially in OCP, so this isn't something you're going to be wanting to spam cast, but you're going to combine this with your bow bar. So you can see on my bow bar I have three primary ways to escape and survive, right? I have my extended ritual and my heal. I have a way to grant dodge and get out of jail. And then on the bow specifically, you got to have the haste to retreat. Grants major expedition for 5 seconds after you dodge roll. Now, if you don't know about dodge rolling, the penalty for dodge rolling is 4 seconds. So essentially, you can get 4 seconds of negative effect for dodge rolling, meaning it stacks the cost. So it costs more and more and more every time you dodge roll. But you get that 5 seconds of getting out of jail. See? Run, 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 run. When I cast Shuffle, dodge on your bow bar and get out of jail. Now you can see right here that I have a rune. I'm going to explain that in just a second. But just remember, this is for defensives. Primary ability to stun players is Binding Javelin. Now, there's a bunch of different ways you can use this, or a different CC, Luminous Shards. Binding Javelin's easier, it hits harder, it's based off physical damage. Great range, it's amazing. Don't spam cast this. Look at the cost, 3,000. That's quite a bit when jabs cost 2,200, and that's a pretty heavy cost ability. The thing you want to do with this ability is time your burst around javelin and then charging in. So what you want to do is throw a javelin, bar swap, and then stampede or crit rush in there. Javelin's going to stun them, and they're probably going to CC break, but that's your small window to capitalize on offense and destroy them. You're looking for the circle at their feet. Do they have one? Yes or no? If they don't, stun them with this. They can block it though, so you're going to have to be wary about that. If they're blocking, remember, it's going to cost stamina as well. So it's a race against resources. Don't keep throwing a 3k stamina spear when they're probably magic users and just blocking because they don't know what they're doing. Is it a sword and board tank with 40k HP? Okay, stop throwing javelin. What you want to do is get up and Binding Javelin them to kind of drain their stamina and for the taking and open it up. So otherwise, we're going to throw this, stun them, keep them off balance, and charge in. Last ability is our offensive one, and this is a damage over time effect. It's cheap, and boy does it do a whole lot of damage. It lasts 10 seconds, so on a single target after we've maintained our buffs, what we're going to try to do is apply this to the target and then stun them and charge in. Essentially, our goal is to kill one target within 10 seconds. If we can drop someone's health below 50% within that 10 seconds and continue to put pressure on them, boom, this will tick them and they will just die. So that's your whole goal, is killing one target. Not killing a whole bunch of targets, which you can do, but killing one target repeatedly. Now, this is not my primary PvP guy, so I don't have Alliance rank 10 on him like Maximus, my other Stamplar. But when you get this maxed out, when you're individual in solo play, when you're killing individual players over and over, you're getting a lot of ultimate. That's going to come in handy because all this centers around is timing your burst with an appropriate stun. And nothing does it better right now than Dawnbreaker of Smiting. So Mages Guild, Fighters Guild here, Dawnbreaker of Smiting. This got changed to physical damage. It also got changed to be a stun, a conal. 10-meter radius in front of you. It's super cheap, and if you combine that with a combat frenzy killing individual players, you're pretty much always going to have this up. So it's nice to charge in someone and then use it as a stun. How I use it in combination with this, Binding Javelin, is I stun a target. As soon as they break, they're going to have immunity for a while. So unless I can kill them right away with the Dawnbreaker, I don't really even use it. I save it for when they're vulnerable, when they can be CC'd again. Then I Dawnbreaker, then I jabs, then I reverse slice and kill them. That's the combination that I use. On my back bar, I have Shooting Star, and what Shooting Star is used for is if I'm going to attack a big, huge group. I throw this skill, I charge in, and I use jabs, and hopefully I can take one or two out. But it's really just for huge monster groups. Now you can use Devouring Swarm Bats if you like, or anything else here that you find useful, but this is something that I like to use. Okay, so we have our Gap Closer, we have a heal, we have our Flex Bot. Now Repentance is right here. I like it in OCP because, well, you're really running out of a lot of resources, especially if you're playing solo, and getting stam back, health back, it's great. Plus having it on your bar, guess what? Gives you more recovery. So those things make it a must-have for me. A lot of players love to use Dizzying Swings here or Wrecking Blow, and I don't really like the skill. Since I'm a Stamp Templar, I don't have to rely on it. It's really good for stunning players, but I see a lot of players not lining up their burst and just spam casting this. And what that does is it takes away from damage, because a lot of times you're going to miss this if you're not timing it appropriately. So I would rather have my burst, my timing come around from Javelin, come around from Dawnbreaker of Smiting, and then sitting there trying to Wrecking Blow. Because biting jabs, is AoE. It covers a big range. So 8-meter radius in front of you, it gives you that major crit, but it doesn't stun. See? It doesn't stun anymore. But it does damage in a huge area. So what I'm doing with this is I'm not just going to click this unless I'm about to kill the target. What I'm doing is continuing to put pressure on them and waiting for them to be CCable. Is Dawnbreaker up? Yes or no? Use it. If not, switch back to your bow, stun them with the Javelin, charge back in, and do biting jabs. It's our main DPS ability. But you don't want to use this blindly. Ask yourself, can they be stunned? Stunning players and taking advantage of that 1 second where they can't really control their character is how you take out large groups. Last ability up is Reverse Slice. Clara, my friend, told me about this. It got changed. I didn't really see any value in it, but boy, it's pretty cool when you're playing solo and you can kind of go in there and take out the groups, because it does a lot of damage to nearby. Plus solo, if you're taking out NPCs like Imperial City Sewers here, it's very helpful. So the whole trick with meteor charging in, biting jabs, and then Reverse Slice, you can take out a pretty big group. And if you do take out players and you have your assault rank leveled up, guess what? You got a lot of ultimate coming back for a Dawnbreaker of Smiting. So you can do a really nice combo here with that. So this isn't my main character, but it's a Redguard, so it makes really handy for no CP. Okay, so those are the skills. Now let's go over gear, and we'll cover combat in the back and showing you a little bit more on how to do this in depth. You got to set up your gear for speed, burst, timing. Speed, burst, timing. And when I say burst, what that means is essentially you're trying to do as most damage as you can within a small window of time. So let's say 2 to 3 seconds. So that's what you're trying to do with this gear setup. Now, it's expensive, it's hard to come by, but it's effective. So there is some other gear options you can do, but I really think the Eternal Hunt set, and this right here, leaving that rune, is the main bread and butter for my stand builds right now playing solo. So if we go to this, hopefully I don't get ganked showing you. 9 trait crafted, but it's absolutely fantastic. Huge stamina recovery, but the real trick is the dodge roll leaves behind a rune. Now, this doesn't show up on your stat sheet, so it doesn't go, oh my god, how much weapon power do I have? But what it does do is stun enemies and poison damage. So we're playing in a no CP campaign, so this will not apply, but if you are playing a CP campaign, look where a lot of your damage comes from, poison. So this will increase the damage, making it about 9k on the tooltip, 90k, almost 10k on the tooltip. Now half that on players, and you're critting a player for quite a bit. But really it's immobilizing them to get away, time your burst. And you can also use it to dodge roll through someone and trick them kind of walking back into it. So, it's hard to get a hold of a crafter. Some of you guys that have 9 trait, until you do, you could use Hunting's Rage as a decent set, but you're going to lack the stamina recovery, which you can make up on your jewelry and craft. Skirmisher's Bite made a comeback, and the obvious trait to get on your armor is well fitted. So I like to do 4 impen, 3 well fitted. 4 impen, 3 well fitted. That gives me good balance between impenetrable if I get caught, and then also reduction in dodge rolling. And so, gold jewelry, you get this from Vet Sanctum Ophidia. You can either do it or you can buy it on the trader, whichever way you want to get it. But it's very expensive. So I'm not using a monster helm. I'm using 2 5 pieces. Also, I'm using a craftable bow of Morkolden. It can be any type of bow. It's infused trait. Why? Look at that weapon damage that you get. So you're going to weave poison injection in with a light attack, proccing that. So it's only going to last 5 seconds, but that's usually enough to do a stampede or a crit rush in, a biting jabs, and take advantage of that huge weapon damage. So this proc, along with Skirmisher's Bite, which is the dodge roll for 5 seconds, gives you that huge, basically 1,000 weapon damage when we amp it up with all of our passives. So when I say amps, what I'm looking at is when it reads 417 weapon damage, it's not factoring some of these things. Balanced Warrior, 6% weapon damage. Medium armor, increases your weapon damage by 12%, and so on and so forth. So even Fighters Guild have some of that stuff as well if you slot Fighters Guild abilities. So those things are going to increase your damage even further out of that, making it even more of a benefit. So it goes really hand in hand with why a Templar is good. Eternal Hunt also goes well with why a Templar, Stamplar, because we can't cloak away. We're running away. We can't just cloak away, get away, streak away, nothing. We have to either dodge roll, leave behind a ruin, get to a resource, a keep, or some safe area, but usually it's fight it out until we die. So this really, really helps out. The traits you're going to want on your weapon, I like Bow of Markholden. Now I've used a craftable weapon before that was not Maelstrom, and I used a Crusher enchant on it. I think I have it. Yeah, here. Maw of Markholden. So if you don't have the Maelstrom two-hander and sharpen in the best trait, just craft something. It doesn't have to be Markholden, but it can be if you want. And the Crusher trait is really nice. So I put the infused bow on my back bar, and when I use it, I crit rush in, do a lie attack, and that 1600 resistance adds up to a lot of damage, especially with the sharpened trait. So Maelstrom Maul was a lot more damage because it does have the added effect up front with the crit charge, physical damage bleed, and then it does have the added weapon damages being slotted. But the Maul can be a great substitute as well. And that's the gear. Okay, so I'm going to show you the rotation a little bit on NPCs here, just because it's easier to explain. In part 1, I did it with a friend. So I'll try to show you some live footage as well, but it's just easier to explain. So pre-combat, 2 buffs you're going to have to maintain: Rally, 33 seconds, and then 23 seconds on Shuffle. You can start from Stealth with a fully charged heavy attack if they're unsuspecting. That's the best way to start. As soon as I let go of my fully charged heavy attack, I hit Poison Injection. So it's almost like one ability. And you can see my character glow red once that weapon enchant is procced. Let's see if we can't get it. See that? That's when you know you have the 417 weapon damage minus the amps. That's the very first thing you're going to do. The second thing is you're going to stun them with a javelin. So you're going to hold, and obviously you can't always be in stealth. And there's a sweeper. Then you stun them, just like that. And then you charge in. So you're just adding a couple things on top of it. Now you can see my rune here. We're going to add that in as well. I'm going to pull them back here. Light attack, weave. Light attack, weave, and a poison injection. Stun, charge. We're going to leave them a nice little rune there. And stun them. And stun them. Remember, the key to doing content, whether it's PvE or PvP, is not taking damage. You cannot take damage by stunning people. So here's how handy Shuffle is. See that red? Just move right out of it. So 2 buffs again. Rally. Shuffle. Stealth if you can. Obviously, sometimes you can't. Fully charge heavy. Spear. Bar swap. Go in. Jabs. And then Executioner or Reverse Slash if they get lower. Okay, now the rune. How do we use that? Well, dodge roll is going to give you a rune, and it's also going to give you more weapon damage as well. So sometimes you can start off the fight. I mean, a tricky little maneuver that you can do is while you're throwing a spear, you can do that. So not a lot of players are going to be able to do that reliably. And that's basically I'm hitting the button, and as soon as I hit the button, I dodge roll. See? So I mean, that's animation canceling. It's a little bit more tricky to do, but you can do it. Otherwise, you can just bar swap to cancel it, dodge roll, and crit rush in. But I don't like to do that until I set it up fully. So I have my buffs. So we're going to just say we're starting stealth. Sweeps, come in, dodge roll through. And then I would either do a Dawnbreaker or just sweeps like this, depending on the situation. All right, we're going to take a look at this video clip here of a little field fight. And you'll notice when I'm moving through the field to an objective, I'm always keeping up my buffs. It's really important that you just constantly recast them. Now you notice Shuffle's running out, so I'm not going to cast every 3 seconds, but as it gets about 5-10 seconds, I'm recasting it. Also, in between fighting, always use these NPCs to get up ultimate. You always want to start fresh with the ultimate. So we can see a couple, 2 or 3. We got 3 so far, 2 with us. So we're just going to try to nuke down one target and focus him. You can see he tries to do a take flight to me. I just dodge roll it. Let him sit in that immobilization, that eternal hunt. I dodge roll to start before I go in. I got Dawnbreakered. I CC break, Dawnbreaker him back, and then try to nuke him down. Laser beam on him and dodge. As soon as I see someone take flighting to me or doing a crit rush, I dodge immediately. You can almost feel the camera shake when you do it. So you get used to that, and they'll just dodge roll right into your immobilization. And then we're just picking down one target at a time. Don't try to kill everyone, just kill one over and over and over, and you can take out larger groups than you. Here's a little solo skirmish clip here to kind of explain when you want to time your burst, when is it appropriate to go in, and who do you target. So right there, this guy's really juicy, really heavy armor, and I can't really do a whole lot of damage to him. So don't target him. Go after the squishy Sork that has the shield stack to stay alive. Remember, if a magic Sork is shield stacking, they're not doing damage to you, they're not putting pressure on you. I can see a friendly here kind of getting engaged, and so I'm just building up ultimate. It's so important to have a Dawnbreaker or a Meteor if you're going to go up against a large group. Let the fight come to you on your terms. Remember, they get buffed being by a keep wall. Charging up a fully heavy charge heavy attack, boom, poison injection, going for the stun, die. Dodge roll to get my weapon power up into a Dawnbreaker, dead. Now they're going to charge me most likely, so I'm going to do a dodge roll so they eat that Eternal Hunt, and I'm stunning the healer. I can see that they're a Templar, so I'm going to try to nuke them down right away, even through their ultimate, boom, and now get away. Last clip up here is doing some solo stalking, so I'm trying to be in stealth when I can, and sometimes I just YOLO out, especially if I have a potion up. Okay, so I can see a couple people already getting engaged, so I'm going to try to stun my primary target and go for the weakest. It's nothing personal. You're trying to get ultimate up from kills and eliminating the easy targets. So right there, I just take advantage of them two fighting each other. Now, after I take them out, I know that I'm going to get a lot of pressure because there are about 2 or 3 of them just waiting to kill me, so I'm going to peel back. Remember, strike with the vengeance. Don't wait till it's too late to get away. Bring him to you. So now 1 or 2s are peeling back. I'm going to stun him, and I'm just trying to build up ultimate here, refreshing my buffs before I engage, because you want that full duration of your buff before you go in for the kill. So I'm getting his back, and boom, dead. Repent him, refresh my buffs if I have to, and get ultimate up. You can see I'm constantly light attack. Even light attack that stupid Atronach. You want the Dawnbreaker up. So charge in here, Dawnbreaker of Smiting, and yet another one's dead. Kind of rotating around. Here comes the Nightblade. So what I'm going to do, yes, boom, knock him back right into that Eternal Hunt, and then go in for the kill. Now, if there's a healer around and there's 2 or 3 people beating on me, as you can see, get out. Don't just get a be hero mode. So this guy's AFK. I'm going to use him, basically just get up ultimate and kill him for an easy kill. Get that combat frenzy going on my main character. Okay, now go back in. See, there's 3 of them stacked up. It's just not a good odds for me, so I'm going to peel back. Waiting for 1 or 2 to peel, and then nuke them. That's a video. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free to subscribe, comment, like, and share. And the thing I'll say is, I'm not the best PvPer, but hopefully these tips will help you and excel at PvP. The whole purpose of what I'm trying to do here is allow you to enjoy your game better by saving you the time, saving you the struggle, because some of those video clips I show you, I'm killing people, looking great, oh my gosh, I'm so awesome. But you got to realize that's a work in progress. It doesn't always go like that. Oftentimes I YOLO in and get my face melted. So you got to just experiment. Keep trying new things. Remember that really good players get really good at one thing because they do it, and they do it a lot. They don't switch. They don't cry. They don't cheat. They just continue to work at improving their one specific thing. So if PvP as a Stamplar is your goal, keep working at it. Pick a character, stick with it. I'm on Imperial and Maximus, my favorite character of all time. Imperial the best choice for a Stamp Templar? No. It's not the best PvP one, which I would say a race, Orc or Khajiit is. It's not the best PvE one, I would say a Redguard or a Khajiit is. But I love them. I love my character. I work with them. I try to improve. I see what other Stamplars that are better than me are doing, and sometimes I'll duel and get my face kicked in, because you can always learn something from a defeat. You don't always learn from a victory. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. So in PvP, where you want a lot of bursts, a lot of upfront damage, fantastic, because it's whenever you deal damage. The more damage effects you have stacked on top of each other, the more likely this is to proc. So you could run a heavy armor Dragonite dot build and really see some advantages of this. You could also run a Stam Templar build with biting jabs, 4 ticks in a second, and really get the proc rate. So I could see this being used to burn down players in PvP.